I didn't prep the Fahrenheit 9/11, but we'll get back to that. But let's go over a few things. I want you to see how Devil's Advocate University put up the 86. Literally saying the Devil's Advocate or the Antichrist, future tense, is going to be 86th. Remember, in the film, The Devil's Advocate, they came and plucked him out of Gainesville, Florida, and said, "Go Gators," at the beginning of the movie, doing shots. That's hard to make up, isn't it? Interstellar. Interstellar, to our date, 11 years, 4 months, 11 days. It is a palindrome. It's about all you really get from that. The other date of Interstellar, there's two dates for Interstellar. 4,144. In other words, for the church on Rising Day. Literally. Actually, that's the same date. Yeah, Interstellar, November 5th, 2014. Interstellar, November 5th, 2014. Yeah, on November 5th, the acclaimed fiction, and it was released. Okay. So I didn't have it pulled up. I had that pulled up, but I didn't have the other. So that's what the two dates are, Death and Rising. Let's just pull it up. What am I looking at? Was there two dates? Yeah, October 26th. Well, November 5th and November 7th. So you have Death and Rising because Revelation 11:7 or November 7th, remember they knocked down the Twin Pines in Back to the Future on November 5th, representing death and then rising on the third day, which would have been November 7th. And here you have, and then October 26th, which is just always their date for releasing of Donnie Darko, Skyfall, Spectre. It is a big month, and then that gigantic license tag of 10. The date that I see the most is October 26th. That would have him rising on October 28th, and that is the Gateway Arch date. When we get to October 26th in 2026, we will be dancing a jig. But anyway, there's your 144 on Rising Day with Interstellar. I don't think October 26th gave us much because I didn't keep it up there. But let's keep going. Yeah. Okay. Stormy Daniels, The Storm, Book of Daniel. 17161. Well, remember, 716 is when Washington, D.C. was formed. So she's giving us to the Rising Day the date, and if you include both dates, ends in 62, which 602 is Revelation in Strong's Concordance. Gigantic of big deals. Batman, the Batman of 2022, released on March 4th, to March 4th, to go marching forward, March 4th, 1,466 days. 66th book of the Bible is Revelation. On Rising Day, be 1468, my parents' old phone number, mine growing up. 68 is the reversal of 86. 68 is also his name in reverse reduction, and Antichrist is also 68 in reverse reduction. That is the biggest number. That's why you had MLK in 1968, RFK in 1968, 2001: A Space Odyssey 1968, the 11:17 for the Bible verse, Zechariah 11:17, the right eye wound Bible verse. That's why you had the right eye utterly darkened Raiders playing the Jets. The Jets killed Donnie Darko. The Jet knocked down the Twins. So you had the Jets playing the Raiders on 11/17, 1968, and it's called the Heidi Bowl or the Heidi game. And on the movie marquee, we've showed you many times, it said Heidi 2 on the movie marquee when Bill Murray's walking by. We've shown you the picture many times. All right. 3/11/2022. When I did have that enormous anomaly with my friend born May 1st, 1985. She turned on 3/11/2022, the first 5 digits, days old of Trump and I's combined number, 13463. 33 days later, I turned the next 5 digits of Trump and I's combined number, which, by the way, Trump and I's combined number, 1968. I'm 7/6 times 1961. Let's go. 7 times 6 times 1961. My number is 82362. And his number is 6 times 14 times 1946. His number is 163464. When you multiply that by my 82362, notice it ends in 1968. Notice it's got skull and bones 322 in the middle. So she turned 13463 days old on 3/11/2022. 33 days later, I believe it was, yeah, April 12th, I turned the next 5 digits of Trump and I's combined number, days old. And 33 days after that was a total lunar eclipse of 5/16/2022. So the Lord had run us into this gigantic anomaly. Where am I at? Oh, we're over here on the last one. So I ran that 3/11/2022 to our date, and it's 3 years, 11 months, 26 days. So there's your 3/11 for 2026 on, which signifies the rising day on 3/11/2026. But this is how it connects to the event day. And then let's run my April 12th. $310, and then we've already run the 5/16 total lunar. Yeah, and there it is, 393. So you got your 1,393. So you have your 39 right in the middle of it. By the way, this stuff here, I forgot. I got some amazing stuff in prep that I cannot wait to show you. Hang on just a second. Babylon working, and Strange Angel. We need to look at Strange Angel also. I believe that was 2018, Strange Angel. About Jack Parsons, L. Ron Hubbard. Strange Angel release date on June 14th. Yeah, June 14th, 2018. Let's go ahead and run that real quick while we're thinking about it, because we know we won't forget the other one. So on Trump's birthday, 2018, okay, if you run it to the rising day of 3/11 and include both dates, we get what we're looking for. No, we don't. Yes, we do. Golly, look at that. My brain was confused. I thought we were going to get 88. So it went up to 28. Duh. Look at that, 404 weeks, the amount of verses in the book of Revelation. That is a direct smash, smash, smash hit. It was all about Jack Parsons, L. Ron Hubbard, and Babylon working. That's what it worked its way up to, no pun intended. So now let's go back. The midpoint of Jack Parsons and Marjorie Taylor, I think her name was Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene? No. Jack Parsons' wife, Marjorie Parsons. I mean, Marjorie Cameron. Marjorie Cameron. And I guarantee you that's who the other Marjorie is patterned after. So they did this Babylon working before Trump was born, out in the desert. And Aleister Crowley said they're creating a moon child. And Trump was born on a total lunar eclipse. So let's now get back to the L. Ron Hubbard. I've lost total focus. So Marjorie Cameron and Jack were married. And when you run them to our date, it's 686. What did that just go to? Hang on just a quick second. Was that me multiplying out their birthdays? Just like I did with Trump and I? I'm not real sure. I'll get back to that later. But it's the amount of days from their midpoint to the event. You see that 39, which is the date. And if you include both dates, you're going to get 322. And we have that um, right about where? There you go. Just include both dates. And it's 39,322 for Skull and Bones. And our date of March 9th, 39,322. The midpoint of Jack Parsons and his wife, Marjorie Cameron, which she was known as the Babylon working Marjorie Cameron. She was known as the what was Marjorie Cameron's name in Babylon working? Scarlet Woman. Folks, the embodiment of the goddess Babylon, it says. I mean, do you understand how deeply satanic all that was? The ritual they did as Trump was in the womb. There's your 144 when you key in Scarlet Woman for the church. Mm, 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 mm. Mark of the Beast is what it comes to in simple gematria. So Hillary Rodham. So you've got to, that's why I'm telling you, you got to take this thing seriously that I'm showing you with this Marjorie Taylor and all this stuff. That number times the day number, 7 times 13 times 1918. Seventeen 174538. And now we run that by 39321. That's how you got the number. There it is. It's the 86. So that's what that number was up here. You got your 686 palindrome, which is what Washington, D.C. gives us. Remember, it's 86,068 days from the inception of Washington, D.C. See previous videos. We also looked at the film Inception. They were all direct hits. You also have an 86, and then the 98th verse of Revelation is the White Horse Crowning Bible verse, Revelation 6:2, which 602 is Revelation of Strong's Concordance. These are really big deals that we're looking at. I just want to really say that. Then, March 11th, 2022, and 25th. Oh, the movie. So on that anomaly date that I had with my friend on March 11th, 2022, the movie came out called Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is talking about the rising day when we're living in the book of Revelation in real time, which will be then kicking off the red horse, because that's the culmination of the white horse that then kicks off the red horse, World War III. March 11th, 2022, and 25th, 139 minutes. So it had two release dates. It says 399% of a common year. 399 is murder in the Jewish Hebrew Gematria. 45 on the event day, 47 on the rising day. That's both his numbers. And 311 is coded. Let's look at it. Open a new tab. 3/11/2022, and it's 3 years, 11 months, 26 days, just like we had got through saying about my previous anomaly. So everything everywhere all at once. Kick the movie. It won Best Picture. That's why you have to look at it. March 11th, March 25th. There it is, 139 minutes. Folks, 39 is our date. 139 minutes. That's 2 hours, 19 minutes. 139 minutes. Our date is 39, March 9th. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Somebody asked me to explain all this stuff. This is just what how the AI marks stuff in their lesser magic, in their ritualistic world. You run the other release date of Everything Everywhere All at Once. You got your 144 for the church on the event day, followed by the number 5. So it's 1,445 on Rising Day, 1,447. So you have your 45 and 47, his two numbers. Everything Everywhere All at Once, the worst movie I'd ever seen in my life, and it won Best Picture. How in the world did Everything Everywhere All at Once win Best Picture? Folks, the movie was horrible. I couldn't watch it. Everything Everywhere All at Once, Best Picture, by resonating deeply with audiences and the Academy through its unique blend of science fiction, profound themes of family, nihilism versus meaning, and immigrant experiences supported by a massive critical and fan base, powerful performances. The worst movie I'd ever seen in my life. Everything Everywhere All at Once is horrible. Here's Reddit. Everything Everywhere All at Once is a horrible movie that won Best Picture. And here's somebody's comment. You're not alone. I have seen some bad movies in my years, but EEAAO was by far the worst. It had no plot. It was not entertaining, wasn't funny. So why did it win Best Picture? Because it is all about the end times. Once that book is opened, everything everywhere all at once just starts happening. The earth becomes supernatural. Now, not as supernatural as it will be at what is known as the abomination of desolation, when the false prophet's performing miracles. But y'all are getting the idea. Y'all are picking up what I'm laying down, right? We're making sense. 399% of a common year also, by the way. If I didn't get rid of it. That was the other date. The was it 311 date when it came out? Yeah, it came out on 311. Look at the percent of a common year. 390, which is the same as my anomaly with my friend. 399.73% of a common year. 399 is murder in the Jewish Hebrew gematria, the most biblical. Are you kidding me? Right? Who shot JR? Mary Crosby is who shot JR. Mary Crosby's birthday to our event, 24,283. 83 is murder in one of the four base ciphers. You run it to the rising day, 24,285. That's the address of One World Trade Tower, which represents the rising from the twins going down. 285 Fulton Street is the address. That's a direct smash hit. I'm telling you, we got our date. We're wrong every time. I don't mind being wrong. This stuff is popping though. And the release of Who Shot JR to our murder date is murder right there in the day. 16,790. 79 is murder in simple gematria. Look at it's 45 years, his number, followed by 11 months, 17 days. 11:17 is the Zechariah Bible verse. Folks, this stuff is popping. Release date of Who Shot JR? November 21st, 1980. There it is. That's 3/21, 1980. Whoa, 16,545 on Rising Day, 16,547. So I had the wrong date keyed in, but it's still a connect. It's still the 4547 connection. Well, or whatever it was I said. Oh, it was 79. 79 murder. Well, it's not. It's 16545, folks. The 65th prime number is 313. The Zapruder film of the headshot, frame 313. So it still is a double hit with the 65 and the 45 on Rising Day 6547. So you have your 4547, both numbers. Who shot JR? Yeah, I guess I didn't change the date. What else are we looking at? My computer went out, so all this stuff needs refreshing. Back to the Future 2. Believe it or not, came out on November 22nd, the JFK assassination date. You run it to our 3/9 date. I don't know why I kept it. I know it's a personal cipher for me. Big time personal cipher. But other than that, it's just the date of the JFK assassination. And remember, Back to the Future 2 was based off, Biff was based off Donald Trump. They said that 50,000, it's an easy Google search. Everybody's verified it, all the conspiracy channels. So the fact that they have it on 11/22, the JFK assassination date, is really all you need, isn't it? The movie Shooter, March 23rd, 2007. Sorry for not having it prepped. So Shooter goes to 69.26. It's nothing to really sneeze at. Maybe that's why I didn't have it pulled up. I already looked at it. I just didn't give it to the other tab. Star Wars. When you run Star Wars to our date, it's 17,818. Remember, that was on the clocks of Back to the Future. That could be the reason. If that goes down on March 9th, like we are definitely speculating like panhandlers, that would be what the 818 on the clocks was all about. Star Wars. Five two 1990. I have no idea what that was about. It's 1303 though. Ugh, can't I think it was something personal I was looking up. So this is Jake Gyllenhaal to the release of Donnie Darko, 7,616. So there's your 761, which is the amount of verses combined with Daniel and Revelation. 1088 weeks. Because remember, it's October 1988 is what it's about. So look at Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday. In the days and in the weeks, it is absolutely killing it. When you run him to our 3/9 date, he's not really killing it with anything, is he? Steve Spurrier, the first of the seven kings of Mystery Babylon, as Florida just hired their eighth coach. Since Spurrier, there are seven kings, five are fallen. That means two out of the seven were not fallen, and Urban and Steve Spurrier did win national championships. Just like two of the seven were not fallen of the kings of Babylon through antiquity, because Nebuchadnezzar wrote Daniel chapter 4 and was called by the Lord. And then the following, Darius the Mede, or Darius the Mede, said the exact same thing about Daniel's God. He loved Daniel. He loved Daniel's God with all respect. Basically paraphrased exactly what Nebuchadnezzar said. So you run Spurrier to our 311 date, 29,545. You got your 45 right there. Now wait till you see Urban Meyer, July 10th, 1964. July 10th, 1964, 2-hour event date. 22522. He is a palindrome, which is what it is from Washington, D.C., remember? 86068. That's what began this whole thing. Eleven 54. I do not know what 11/30/54 is. Trump to it is 3091. That is our date. And you mean to tell me I don't remember why I looked up 11/30/1954? What happened on November 30th, 1954? Meteorite crashed. Well, there you go. That wasn't what I was looking up, but our one channel, We Seek and We Find, is always talking about the meteorite. What was the most popular meteorite strike? November 30th, 1954. There it is right there in Alabama. Let's get rid of these tabs. I'm getting lost all over the place here. So Trump to that date. Get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of the Scarlet Woman. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. So when I say what took place, that's meteorite. That's what took place on that date, November 30th, 1954. And it's called the SYLAC meteorite strike. And over here, SYLAC. There it is. And it's in Alabama, the big state. Devil's Advocate University. I'm sorry, the Ghost in the Machine University. Their famous fraternity is called the Machine. There it is. Now, that's not why I had that date pulled up, but look at it. Trump to that date, We Seek and We Find is always talking about the meteorite strike. Who was born November 30th, 1954? Must have been a movie then. What movie was released? Why in the world was I looking at that date? I'm at a loss, but it's a direct hit for that meteor, isn't it? And We Seek and We Find. We Seek, We Find YouTube. They're always looking at the meteorite strike. There's the meteorite right there in the background. Third Eye, meteorite. When you watch their videos, it's all about these meteorites. Might even see it on the thumbnail. Um, every once in a while. Might see the meteorite on a thumbnail. How do you spell meteorite? Meteorite. So if you go to their site and do a search, you're going to get all kind of stuff. The BBC meteorite. Kendrick the Meteor Man at Super Bowl. Meteorite strike song. So Elon Musk, Third Eye, Atlas, Meteor Strike card. Meteor original poster. Giant meteor. So this is all from their site. So that's what I'm telling you. That's freaky right there. That's super freaky. Anyway, excuse me. All right, what else did I have prepped? It was Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard's birthdays. That's what we had prepped. You ought to look at their birthdays. It's crazy. Hang on just a split second. By the way, you know how I've told you 1,000 times that in Casino Royale, the first cards dealt all in hearts was 589, which is Donald Trump in the Jewish Hebrew gematria, the most biblical, which is where we get this SIX, 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 666 spelled out, gives us Donald John Drumpf. Trump was the family surname. We've shown you that a million times, DRUMPF. In a Casino Royale, they lay out the 589. They're saying, love Trump. And of course, an iPad goat, he's got the hearts all over him. Valentine's is going to be a big time frame before we even get to this 3-9. Better look at that Valentine's. Better look at that Valentine's. Mm, 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 mm. So let's look at their two birthdays. March 13th for 313, the Zapruder film, L. Ron Hubbard, 9/11. The year 9/11 on 313, March 13th. The Zapruder film, 313. L. Ron Hubbard. Top Gun Maverick, Tom Cruise. Well, let's take a look. When we run that date, 9/11, 313. When you run him to our date of March 9th, it is a perfect 42,000 even days. 79 murders in a month, 1,379 months. A perfect 6,000 weeks even. 1,008,000 hours even. 60,480,000 minutes even. 3,6,288 seconds even. What's the chances of all that? Slim to none. Jack Parsons, who married the Scarlet Woman in Babylon Working Ritual, his birthday is the Donnie Darko date of October 2nd, which is when Ghost in the Machine came out, October 2nd, 1981. So Donnie Darko date, October 2nd, 1988. Folks, when you spell out October 2nd, spell it out, SECOND, OCTOBER. You spell out those two words, it comes to 138, which matches Donald Trump in the simple gematria. That's why October 2nd is their big deal. The AI has set all this up. Jack Parsons, October 2nd, 1914. Let's take a look at it. 40701. Well, it's a palindrome again. Goodness gracious alive. Go to the rising day, include both dates. 40704. Palindromes are what this whole thing's about. Hey, it's 6:02 p.m., y'all. Just change 6:03. Revelation of Strong's Concordance. Ah. But anyway, and that's also your 47. We'll do Fahrenheit 9/11 and Fahrenheit 119, good Lord willing, next time. All right, love y'all.